Okay, everyone, welcome back. This is going to be an interesting lecture, I say, because if you remember the beginning of this unit, we talked about what, okay? We talked about what, and we said that what is solving equations or inequalities. And then we talked about how. We showed you how we apply factor theorem or other techniques to solve inequalities or equations. So we talked about what, we talked about how, okay, how to do things, and what are we talking about. But now we want to talk about why, okay? That's why I put that why at the corner so that you know why. Why did we learn all these things? Because always students are coming and asking, how am I going to use this in my life? Solving like linear inequalities. How am I going to use that? So today I'm going to answer that question, okay? And it's going to save you some money, believe it or not, unless you say you don't need money, which I doubt it. We have two companies here. One is called, these are cell phone companies. One is called Belleville. The other one is called Rogersville, okay? And these two companies have different policies, different employees, different plans, different everything. And Belleville says they're charging $20 per month for the service. And for every minute of talk time, they charge you 2 cents. That's their plan. We can't say why. For example, if you talk 10 minutes, so 10 minutes times 2 cents, that would be how much? 20 cents. They charge you 20 cents for a 10-minute talk. Okay. But then this other company advertises and says, well, we charge you less. Instead of $20, we charge you $15 per month. Okay. But then every minute that you talk over the cell phone, we charge you 3 cents per minute. Okay. So different plans. All right. Now, we want to know for what amount of talk time in minutes Rogersville Company's plan is better, or the other plan is better. End of the day, you want to buy a plan in future for yourself or for somebody else, and you want to know how can you save money. So your knowledge of mathematics becomes handy here. Actually, in future, you'll be saving some money. All right, so we have to model this situation first of all. The Belleville, so I'm going to call C sub B. Okay, C sub B means cost of Belleville company is $20. Okay, and then plus 2 cents per minute. So if I let T equal to number of minutes of talk time, okay, then this is going to be 0.02 times T. Okay, that's number of minutes of talk time. Okay, T or X or whatever you want, you can choose. The other company, C sub R, the cost is $15 plus 0.03 times T. It's not that difficult to come up with these. So you pay $15 anyway, right? So if you speak 100 minutes, 100 times 3 cents would be how much? $3. Okay. So $3, $15, you pay $18. That's how much you pay. Okay. Now we want to know for what amount of talk time in minutes Rogersville Company's plan is better, or maybe the other company's is better. Okay. So when we say Rogersville Company's plan is better, it means that it's cheaper, obviously, right? Because we assume that both of these companies offer the same level of standards in terms of technology and all of that. So we want 15 plus 0.03t to be less than 20 plus 0.02t. That's what we want. We want the cost of paying to Rogersville be less than or cheaper than the cost of paying to Belleville Company. But we don't know for how many minutes is this possible, all right? So we end up with a linear inequality, as you clearly see here, okay? So now, what should we do with this linear inequality? Well, we have to solve it. Okay, so we're going to solve this. We're going to say 0.03t minus 0.02t, okay? And that's 20 minus 15. So we end up with 5 on the right side and 0.01 t on the left side. You have to divide both sides by 0.01. And remember, if you're dividing both sides of an inequality by a positive number, the direction of the inequality does not change. But if you are dividing or multiplying both sides of an inequality by a negative number, then in that case, the direction of the inequality will change. This is something maybe it has not been mentioned in the past. Maybe you knew about it, but I just mentioned it. Now here, because I'm dividing both sides by a positive number, so that is okay. I'm not going to change the direction of the inequality. But remember, if I was dividing by negative 0.01, then I had to switch the direction of the inequality. So t is less than 5 over 0.01, and that means t is less than 500. Okay? So t, the talk time, must be less than 500 minutes for cost of Rogers will be less than cost of Belleville. All right, so we figured out what the answer was. But when you say t is less than 500, could it be negative 200? Obviously not, because time cannot be negative, it's always positive. So we're going to say t has to be, of course, positive, right? So this is the solution set for this actually linear inequality. Okay, so we had a real life word problem, a real life situation, and we introduced a variable. We let t or x equal to number of minutes of talk time, and then we modeled these two cell phone plans, constructed a linear inequality, and then we solved the linear inequality using our past knowledge, and now we've got this solution. Okay, so we're going to say solution set is t belongs to the set of real numbers such that t has to be between 0 and 500. Okay, exclusive. So if you know you're a person who doesn't speak over the cell phone for a long time, maybe you talk like 200 minutes per month or like 350 minutes, maximum 400 minutes per month. So it's better to select the Rogersville company. But if you are type of person who is 24/7 on the cell phone and he talks over the phone for like hours and hours and hours, in that case, you better select the other company so that you pay less money. So here we're going to say for a talk time of, I would say, up to 500 minutes. So Rogers Will Company is cheaper. Okay, but if you're talking more than 500, then the other company would be more economical. Okay, I give you this example so that you know and learn about the why. Why do we learn these solutions of linear inequalities or quadratic inequalities? Why do we learn math in general? Because it has lots of applications in real life, and the minimum thing it can do is just save you a couple of bucks in future. Okay, thank you for your attention. I'm going to give you more examples of word problems and real life applications of all these mathematics that you learn. Thank you.